everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Legend of Dungeon. So I know I've been saying this a lot, but again, this is a little bit of an unusual Let's Look at for me, because this is a game that is highly still a work in progress. So to talk about a little bit about the backstory of Legend of Dungeon, not too much, this is a game that was kickstarted recently in December of 2012. They asked for $5,000, and they made something like 33, so several times over their initial goal, and they have a lot of stretch goals that have included new features at this point. But at its core, this is like a side-scrolling beat-em-up RPG with roguelike elements. So, you know, just by the nature of the description there, you can probably tell that there is a lot of good stuff to mine for myself. Like, a lot of those genres are things that obviously I have an affinity for, especially roguelikes. But beyond that, the main draw for this game, and you'll see that once we get into the gameplay, you might even be able to see it at the title screen here, at least initially the main draw, is that this game has some beautiful pixel art. It looks just really textural, like it looks real, almost as if it's made out of like clay bricks or Play-Doh or something. But it also has incredible dynamic lighting on top of that pixel art, which is absolutely fantastic. So we're just going to click play here. Then I'm going to move my mouse off the screen because I am rolling with the Xbox 360 controller here. So I'm just starting a game. Every time you start a game, there is permadeath, by the way. But every time you start a game, you do play as a brand new character. And we can see our stats down there at the bottom. So I'm a frog princess. I have 100 health out of 100 health maximum. 0 defense, 20 attack, 0... experience. That might be 20 durability, by the way. I'm not 100% sure. And 2 gold. Gold is like how we determine high scores. If we wanted to, we could also change our sex just by walking into this door. Or maybe we can't. Okay. We could change our sex by walking into this door. Excuse me? Alright. Something's not right here. This worked a second ago. There we go. Alright, so we can change into a girl if we wanted to. We also have an inventory here. I'm going to change back into a dude first, just because I feel a little bit more comfortable that way. As a zombie, man. We can also check out our items here. So I have a sword, which I can just swing to attack. I also have a lantern, which is going to be very useful for us when we get deeper into this dungeon. I have some beer. I can drink that, and then I'm just trying to walk to the right here. It's not 100% working out for me. I'm skipping and dipsy-doodling all around the place. We also have apples, which basically are going to be our healing items to start with here. So anyway, you can almost get a feel for the dynamic lighting right now as I take out the lantern. It almost reminds me of a game like Loom, where, I haven't talked about that in a while, but Loom was like a point-and-click adventure game that had awesome visual style. The games, like Legend of Dungeon and Loom, don't really look all that similar at first glance, but they both have very deliberate artistic styles, which I can really appreciate. They both look like nothing else in the industry, basically. Like, this game looks totally unique. Now, keep in mind, of course, this is an absolute work in progress. This game is not out yet, and if you want to vote for it, you can vote for it on Steam Greenlight. I should mention that off the top. If you're interested, I'll post a link in the video description to absolutely check that out. So it's a little bit barren right now. I mean, it's not very feature-rich, I should say. There's not much music to speak of, although there are sound effects. By the way, I picked up a hat back there. This is going to be our defense. So we have the safety top hat of awesome. Watch how our stats change as I put this on. So we have 2 defense. Wait, that didn't change at all. What happened? We have 23 attack now? Is that what happened? Let's remove it and see what happens. Yeah, that gave us a little extra attack, I guess. So we're just going to put this on here. Plus, I mean, even if it didn't give us any statistical advantage, geez, that was a harder word to say than I expected. It gives us the advantage of having a top hat, which is just pretty awesome in its own right. So, basically, if we're going to talk about this game in terms of our objectives, like what the heck are we supposed to be doing, you can almost think of it as a Dungeons of Dreadmore type game. Or even, you know, if you're not familiar with Dungeons of Dreadmore, pseudo, like an Isaac type game. Basically, we're inside of this dungeon, and our goal is to get to the very end, and there's going to be bosses that we have to defeat along the way. Although, I will admit, in my hour of play so far, I've really only come across one boss, and he absolutely wiped the floor with me. That was on, like, floor 5 or floor 6. I can't quite remember. So basically, we're just going to be examining these floors as thoroughly as possible, gaining experience, which is indicated by that book on our HUD. And trying to level up so we can actually progress further and further. I'm hoping to have a very good run over the course of this video, as occasionally happens. It happened in Super Amazing Wagon Adventure, but it doesn't always happen. And again, we can get a feel for the awesome dynamic lighting with this lava here. Now, things are very easy on the first floor. As you can see, like, whenever these guys hit me, these snakes, I should say, they're not technically guys. They could be female snakes, who knows? Are there hermaphroditic snakes? I think there are hermaphroditic snakes. But they're not doing all that much damage. So there is like a timing element to the attacking. It's not just walking into them a la, I don't know, like a half-minute hero or something. You absolutely do have to time your attacks, which can be a sore spot for me because it's difficult to get the timing down. You absolutely have to like memorize enemy patterns and behaviors if you're going to have any chance of success at doing that. But things get much harder and a little, I wouldn't necessarily say puzzly as you move along, but things do get a little bit more difficult just even traversing from place to place, because as you get deeper and deeper down, you know, level 4, level 5, things get very dark, things get very treacherous with respect to the lava. That is a level up for us, so as you can see, our stats have changed a little bit again. We might be one-shotting some enemies, who knows. And what door did I come in through? That's something that I ask myself a lot when I'm playing this game. What door was the one that I came in through? I think it was the one on the right. Yes, okay. So I'm just continuing on here, basically to try to find the exit, or the staircase down to the next floor. You might have noticed that I picked up some items along the way. Let's talk about some of these that I haven't talked about. I think the only one that might be new, as I continue taking some pretty terrible damage here, these guys only do like 1 or 2 damage per hit. The only thing that might be new is these potions. So these potions, if I go here, they all have question marks. Kind of like the pills in the Binding of Isaac. I believe they randomize effect every single time. So we're going to check out this blue potion. We're going to use that. I have absolutely no idea what that has done for us. Again, similar to Dungeons of Dreadmore. I imagine as you play more and more, you kind of get a feel for what those effects actually mean. I've had some that actually like illuminated me. I've had some that gave me a lot of HP, and then there's been some that have, shall we say, more nebulous effects. So we are on floor 2 right now, and there is the exit down to floor 3. There's usually multiple exits, but we're going to skip over this for now and just continue on our way. I'm just going to bust this down. In fact, the best way to describe this, I keep describing this as kind of like an amalgam of Dungeons of Dreadmore and like Spelunky or the Binding of Isaac. That's not necessarily the best comparison. The best comparison I can think of is actually one the developers have drawn. I'm getting F'd and A here. Best comparison I can think of is like old school beat 'em ups. It almost feels a little bit like they said the X-Men and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade games. I actually think this feels a lot more like Golden Axe, like with respect to the way the animations work and the way you make progress. Oh, these hands are the worst enemies ever. I think they're hands anyway. They might be scorpions. Who knows? I don't even know what this guy steals, but he's annoying as hell too. But the hands attach to you and make you move super slowly. I mean, that's a standard kind of like RPG mechanic for an enemy like that, but it's still super annoying. You may have also noticed I've been picking up gold. I've never encountered a situation where I can spend gold. So as far as I know, what is that? I've never seen that before. Ethereal Orc Helm of Protection. Let's watch our stats. Right now we have 8 defense. That took us down to 6. But did it increase our attack power or something? By 1? But it is an Orc Helmet. I mean, that is pretty cool. Let's just pop that on for now. I don't know what the Ethereal means. I don't know what a lot of the modifiers in this mean. You might be saying, Northernlion, you should... Oh, God! Where did that guy come from? You might be saying, you should do more research before these videos. I think you're half right, but half of the fun in a roguelike like this is not knowing what the items do. I mean, think back to the first time you played Isaac. You picked up, you know, maybe a coat hanger and it says tears up, and you're like, oh, what the fuck does tears up mean? I am going to take some apples here because I need some HP. Maybe get ourselves back to, like, 82. Man, back in 82, if Coach had put me in, we would have won state. I know it. Okay, so this is... I'm not sure if this is where we came down, but it's another staircase that we could take up if we wanted to. And we could go down to the next floor if we wanted to, but I don't want to do that just yet. I want to level up as much as possible. We got a robot here, I guess we're going to fight. He does a lot of damage. He does too much damage. He's taking my bones. Kill him! Kill him! Oh, he's scared, but I'm scared too. I'm dead. Alright. So that's what happens in Legend of Dungeon a lot. Frog Princess killed by a robot on level 2 with 12 gold. High score, Frog Princess killed by a skeleton on level 6 with 32 gold. I believe that the Frog Princess thing is not like the name of our person. It's actually just our class. So I'm going to go to play again, obviously, because there is some replayability here. But it's not, the name of our, like, character. It's just the name of our class. And because the game reached one of its stretch goals, this is going to have additional classes in the game. Although I'm not sure if they're in the game yet. I've been playing as this basic Frog Princess / warrior class. We could fight these guys in the tavern, by the way, if you wanted to. But it's a pretty bad idea, as you will probably find yourself getting killed over and over again. Although you can just respawn right here anyway, so it doesn't make a huge difference in the whole scheme of things. Let's play as a girl this time. Why not? So in terms of this game's release, I'm not really sure what to say about it because it's still so early in development. But I do know, somewhat curiously, this is actually going to be an Ouya title. You know, the console that was also kickstarted, the Android-based, like, really affordable, highly portable console, open source, etc., etc. So these guys won an Ouya console, so I believe they're going to be either an Ouya launch title. I hope it's pronounced Ouya, otherwise I just sound like an idiot right now. Or it's going to be on the Ouya soon after release, which is kind of interesting. I still don't know. Oh, we found a secret door. I still don't quite know how I feel about that platform in general. I'm obviously going to reserve total judgment until I actually see it, but it's kind of neat that this has a little extra pedigree attached to it as well. So we're going to continue moving onwards here. I will admit that in its current state, the game does lack a little bit in the sense of like replayability, just because there are there are other awesome roguelikes like already complete that are out there that I could be playing right now. But just like, I hate to say this because it sounds superficial, but this is a game that I feel like can succeed on the strength of its visuals alone. From the gameplay perspective, it's not quite there yet, but I feel like it easily could be in the future. Again, remember, this just got kickstarted very recently. That might not necessarily indicate that it's super far away from release, because sometimes games get kickstarted, you know, like the day before they release or after they release. But that being said, I'm going to eat some apples here. That being said, I do feel like this is a game that has a lot of potential. We got another helmet there. Helmets, as far as I know, are the only armor in this game, at least so far. Ethereal hood. So that takes all of our defense down to 0. I'm not sure what it does for us overall. I'm going to put the Knight Helmet protection back on, because anything with protection, you know, indicates to me that we're not going to get pregnant when we use it. So I'm going to continue moving along here. And again, I would be remiss, I think I mentioned it already, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention it a couple of times. That this game is available on Steam Greenlight. The reason I mention that is because I kind of feel like Greenlight now, if you're not familiar, it's the only way for independent developers to get their stuff on Steam, unless they have an outstanding relationship with Steam already. So it's kind of like, we're the gatekeepers, and so far Steam Greenlight, or the users on Steam Greenlight, I should say, I don't think they've done a very good job of picking projects to put on Greenlight. I mean, I'm not trying to shit-talk any of the developers, many of whom sent me keys for games to review that eventually got released on Steam Greenlight. But, you know, I don't necessarily think that things like Towns or Forge were necessarily in the state they needed to be good releases. And of course, I should admit that Legend of Dungeon is still a work in progress. But I think this is a worthwhile game, and I would love to see this get greenlit at some point further along in its development, although it's still probably a little too early right now. In any case, that's me. I'm done with talking about how we should be the gatekeepers of Greenlight. This is a good opportunity for us to use our lantern. Got a apple over here. Again, I love the dynamic lighting in the shadows in this. I think that's a major strong point in this game. The major strong point in this game, at least in its current state, is not its gameplay at all. It's absolutely that kind of unique visuals. But again, I think it succeeds on that element. And it can succeed on that element. For now, at least, given its current state. So this is a dead end for us. Another thing that a major complaint I have about the game is that there is no kind of map system, and that might be admittedly deliberate for some kind of immersion, I guess. But for me personally, I get lost in these dungeons like crazy. Again, that might be the intended effect, but it's fairly annoying from a gameplay perspective. I wish there was some kind of overarching, not HUD necessarily, but map I could use. And there is no, as far as I know, no pause menu that I can get to with the 360 controller at least. It's dark as hell in here. This is where things get rough for us. The best run I've ever had, I got to like level 4. Or level 5 maybe, and there were some bosses there that I had to encounter. But things get real dark, and you gotta choose, wait, do I want the lantern out? Or do I want the sword out? And oftentimes that is a trade-off where, you know, even if you think you're winning, you're gonna lose from it. Like, there's no good option. Whoever wins, we lose. That's more what I was going for. So I don't know what's up with this Joker. He keeps taking stuff from me, but I'm not sure what he takes. Come on back, buddy. There we go. I hate these hands, but that's okay. Oh, what's that on the ground? I've never seen that before. You can pick up new weapons as well. I've only encountered a couple. There is no tutorial in the game right now. So again, when I mentioned that I'm a little bit fuzzy on some of the gameplay mechanics. Wait, is it? I think there might be a tutorial. What am I talking about? I believe there was some kind of option for it. But anyway, when I say I'm fuzzy on gameplay mechanics, I have a little bit of tolerance for that, I should say. How does this change? Okay, so we get 1 extra defense when we switch to Reluctant Old Sword. That's cool enough. It's enough of a reason, I would say, to switch. It does make me feel a little bit slower. I might not actually be a little bit slower, but it makes me feel a little bit slower. Let's crack open this box. By the way, I should mention, I'm not sure about this, but it almost feels like... I should probably name this video. I'm not sure about this. But it almost feels like there's some element of, like, jumping puzzles that you can have in the game, like crates and jumping puzzles. Like, as you can see, there's an apple up there, but I can't get to it right now. I feel like if I don't destroy the crates, I might actually be able to, like, stack them up and then walk along the sides of the wall, almost like Darksiders 2 style, and get that apple. God only knows how right now, though. So we're up to 13 gold. That's at least better than we did last time. Again, these potions all have randomized effect. Let's try out this potion right here, because I need some health. Maybe it'll give me some extra health. Did that just give me an extra level? It may have. That's usually the indication of you gaining a level. What about the other potion? Both question marks still? Alright. Well, we'll just take out our ethereal sword, or reluctant old sword again. If I could have... There we go. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Okay. and go through some more of these doors, looking for level 3. I really want to show off the boss fights, because that's one of the only elements of, like, variation in the game's current state of gameplay, is when you get into a boss fight. Like, the first boss fight I had was against a necromancer. Is this another weird kind of entrance that I've never seen before? Yeah, I was against a necromancer, so every time I left him alone, he started spawning skeletons, but every time I faced him head on, he just absolutely destroyed me. Oh my god, get away from me! In terms of controls, the game controls fine. Like I said, it controls a lot like Golden Axe, in my opinion. And a lot of people in the modern day feel that Golden Axe doesn't control all that well. I don't necessarily disagree with them, but Legend of Dungeon controls fine for the state you're in. It's not like you're ever making like pixel-perfect jumps or anything like that. So even though it feels a little bit floaty and like weighty in its current state, that's okay. I think it controls just fine. So we're gonna just kill this zombie. Or mummy, whatever it was. We could walk over that lava if we wanted to, but I don't think there is any need to. Instead, we're just going to continue moving on here. And there is, of course, it probably doesn't even bear mentioning, because I'm sure most of you guys could probably realize this anyway, but there is a huge element of, like, random and procedural generation in these dungeons. It's not merely, you know, like, the same dungeon every single time, where that would be boring as hell. Seems like roguelike elements are very in these days. Oh, shit. Lantern. Yeah, roguelike elements are very in these days, and you know what? That is A-okay with me. So, we have some problems here. I'm just gonna leave, because, I mean, that's the exit down to the next floor. I'll just try to remember that, even though there are other exits usually. And I will just kill some mummies, get some more experience. I would love to level up before we left this floor. As with, you know, Dreadmore, or any other roguelike. The floors usually get longer and a little bit more difficult as you move on. So, A, it's good to kind of milk the fact that the floors get longer by grinding a little bit and getting some extra levels so you're better when you go to the next floor. And B, wait, that's where I started. Is this really the only way? B, you really have to level up before you... I'm down to 3 health. I totally did not even notice that. That happened so quickly. Luckily, I have 23 apples, so I can get myself high as hell. Maybe I just have to immediately go down to floor 4, although that would be, to put it lightly, a disappointment for me. Well, I'm at 68. It's not my favorite number. Let's try a potion. There we go. Got a little extra health there. Might have been a level up. I have absolutely no idea. Again, much of this game is a mystery to me right now, but that's kind of the way I like roguelikes. You're supposed to discover them as you go. So I think I'm just going to sprint down to the next floor here. We're going to take our lantern. Basically run like hell. There we go. Alright. So now we're going to be fighting more and more difficult enemies. Get this Cyberman off me, please. We got a lot of doors here. I probably missed a ton of floor 3, but I was very confused about what to do. This guy's doing some substantial damage, but he's going to give us some good experience as well. I think we did level up. Because we are at, now we need 160 to get to the next level. These potions could come in handy. And again, I don't know if these crates can ever be used for anything else, so I'm basically just bashing their brains in. Typically speaking, ooh, that's a new sword. Which you pick up automatically by just walking over, by the way. What is it? Safety Bastard Sword of Power. Yeah, it gives us a little extra damage over the basic sword anyway. Plus, I hesitate to compare this to Dark Souls, but it seems like every item has its own moveset. Like the Bastard Sword, almost you like take a step forward when you move it. So you do have to learn the movesets of at least a couple of different items. I'm not sure if I shouldn't say every item has its own moveset without actually confirming that, but that's the way I've felt about it so far. This is good because it allows me to kind of close the distance between an enemy. We're going to take some apples here. Eat them up. I want to get myself to like half health. So 66 out of 130, it's fairly close. Let's take another. We might as well just eat all the apples. I guess it doesn't really matter in the whole scheme of things. So we're going to just go 37. Reluctant Bastard Sword just gives us a little extra defense, I guess. Not really all that useful. Oh! Skeleton Knight! Alright. So I probably should have just doubled down on him. Again, like Spelunky, a lot of those crates that you open are just going to have enemies in it. What's the end game for that enemy that waits in a crate for like 1,000 years and then just gets one shot? Like, sucks for him, right? I probably should have killed that skeleton for extra experience, but what can I say? I was blinded by the promise of treasure in the next room. These potions, of course, could become incredibly beneficial for us in the long run, but I don't know what they do just yet, so we're just going to hold on to them until we desperately need them. It's kind of, again, take a shot every time I say Dungeons of Dreadmore in this video, but it's like Dreadmore where I don't use potions very much because I worry about their effects. But then when I get into a situation where I'm going to die anyway, well, it's like, might as well use a potion now. Might as well gain some information and possibly get some extra HP or something. I don't like this at all. I like that skeleton. Just like jimmying around like, I don't give a fuck. He's like just dancing to Gangnam Style constantly. We're still doing fine with respect to health, believe it or not. And we are actually about to pass my high score with respect to gold. So there we go. I mentioned at the start of the video, I think it was this video anyway, I actually botched an earlier... Whoa, that is a lot of enemies. I botched an earlier recording of this game, so I hope it was this video, but I mentioned that I wanted to have a great run, but oftentimes that doesn't happen when I record videos like this, because I'm talking at the same time, and, you know, makes it a little less likely for you to succeed. There's our trip down to the next floor, by the way. I would love to level up before we get there. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but at the very least, we're going to be pretty close. We're already at 140 out of 160. Enemies usually give you a meager amount of experience. I think it does increase as you get deeper and deeper down. But, like, bats might be 1 experience. Snakes can sometimes be, like, 1 to 3. Well, we can just see what this guy is, I guess. Yeah, he was 2. How about zombies? Zombies can do a lot of damage to you, as you just saw. Looks like that zombie was 1. Maybe the experience doesn't increase as you move along. Maybe they just increase the number of enemies to make it easier for you to level up. Well, we're going to go down to level 5 regardless. Let's see what we got down here. More assholes. Again, I think this Joker, like, steals my experience or something. He doesn't steal my gold. Believe me, that was one of the first things I checked. And more apples is always useful. There's a shield, which I've never seen before. Okay, so I just ate my hat on that shit. Because I said there were only hats in the game. That is totally my bad. Let's take this, see what this does. I'm throwing up. Alright. I don't like that. So we'll pick up the shield. What does the shield do? I mean, I'm assuming it increases our defense. Okay, so we're going to take out the shield. Shielded protection. What's our damage like? Wow, that like really increases our defense. That's awesome. It probably makes us do a little bit less damage. And we can't use any of it here because we still need the lantern. This is going to be an issue, that's for sure. We can kind of hit things with our lantern, but it doesn't really do damage. It might be able to knock some enemies away. Is there anything in here? Good, there is a door. Please tell me there's some kind of natural lighting. Good. I'm just going to take out our shield again. Because shielded protection seems like the most boss weapon I've gotten so far. Please tell me I can kill this thing with the shield on. Did I? I did. Alright. And it makes me travel a lot faster, too. So there's no need for that bastard sword anymore. Again, absolutely have to reiterate that I love the lighting on this. Oh, these guys are still doing a ton of damage. I guess I just gotta keep the shield, like, out. It doesn't do as much damage. Or, like, I don't do as much damage is what I'm trying to get at there. Let's take some apples here. Alright, basic sword. Here's the thing, like, I don't understand where our damage stat is, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Like, I think that 36 is the damage, but it may also be... Oh, come on. Merely the durability? That doesn't really make sense. You might have just had to find out damage naturally. Oh, this is not good. Just run. Okay, there is some natural lighting in here, but I think we're coming up to a dead end. Let's take our shield out again. Inventory system, again, is a little clumsy right now, too, but at least you can do it on the fly. It's going to take, like, 5 hits. That's 4. That's not so bad. We're going to level up fairly soon. That'll give us a little extra HP, I think. Which, hopefully, I can use to make it to the boss, because I really would love to show off the boss fight. And, thankfully, we did not run across some bullshit. Like dark level. It's like Spelunky, man. The dark levels mess with you. Hopefully there is an exit down to the next level fairly soon, because we are going to level up in like 5 or 6 more enemies in all likelihood. Well, there's a snake. I'm fine with dealing with snakes. They're like the easiest enemies we could possibly face at this point in our game. And this is definitely a high score for me, I think. 38 coins. Alright. Have I already been here? Again, this is why I would love some kind of map system. Maybe there's a map item you just get later in the game, and all of my criticisms right now are for naught. We've already been in this room. Of that, I am certain. Can I even fit through here at all? Yes, I can, and I'll just run away. We've certainly been in this room. I remember that much. Might as well take out our shield and bust this motherfucker down. I thought we were making good progress, though. Please just die. This is a dead end, if I remember correctly, which I do. So this is definitely the right path. I always feel like I'm playing like Mario Lost levels when I do this shit, where I'm like, okay, we gotta go through the door on the right, then we gotta go through the straight door. This was the door we were supposed to go into. I'm almost 100% certain, because there is an exit over here. Ah! Maybe we're going through the left door? Maybe? I don't know. It appears that we have not been here before, which might be good news. Oh, well, we've definitely been here before. Now, let's just not go around in circles here. So if we go in through that door, we're going to start the same chain that we were just on. It's just like the Legend of Grimrock video. 2013. Only in that video I had a map, so I basically had no excuse. Alright, well, we only have one option here. Please allow us to go down to level 6. I would like to, very much. If not, we're just gonna start drinking potions and seeing what happens, basically. Oh! Oh, skeleton man, don't kill me. Oh, there's another exit down here. That's the thing. Okay. I gotta go back in through this door. I should probably take some potions just to see if I can heal. I'm just vomiting uncontrollably. How about that one? That seemed to do something for me. It leveled me up, maybe? How about this one? Might as well destroy this guy. Still just vomiting uncontrollably. I'm pretty sure that's bad for business. This one? Some kind of illumination, maybe? Again, the uncontrollable vomit. I like that one. That one seems to work pretty well for me. There we go. I think we picked up... No, we didn't pick up any health for that. I don't know, man. Hey, hey, smoke potions every day. There we go. That was the one I wanted, that extra health. So we're up to 46 now, which, if with my lantern, is probably good enough for me to just sneak by here without getting killed. Oh! And I jump like crazy. That must be what one of those potions did. Alright, get out of here. That was enough, although barely, for us to escape. Okay, so now we're going to take out our shield. Kind of unconventional tactic, but ended up working out in the long run. Or the short run, anyway. I wouldn't dare say anything's worked out in the long run so far. Oh, and this is the boss. This is the necromancer. Okay, so we do have the defense necessary to knock this fucker out. Never mind. Alright, it wasn't a necromancer, it was a warlock. But as you can see, that is my high score. Frog Princess killed by a warlock's magical missile on level 6 with 39 gold. In any case, this is Legend of Dungeon. That video went on longer than expected, but this is a very intriguing work in progress. As of right now, the main selling point for this game is absolutely the fact that it is absolutely gorgeous. I didn't talk about it that much in the video, but that's the number one thing. Like, as soon as you see gameplay of this, or as soon as I saw gameplay of it, and many other people that I've talked to, it was one of those things where it's just like, oh, I have to see that in motion. Like, screenshots do not do it justice. In a gameplay perspective, it's basically like a roguelike golden axe, in my opinion, right now. And there's a lot of work to be done to make it more feature-rich, because right now it's a little bit deficient in that regard. There's not a whole lot of replayability beyond the draw of the fact that there's randomness, and I think it needs a better tutorial. There is indeed no tutorial, as I can see right now. However, it's a very interesting title in its own right, for sure, and I would definitely encourage you guys to check it out on Steam Greenlight right now, and keep watching gameplay. There's a ton on YouTube already. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing the game on Steam eventually, vote for it on Greenlight. I'm sure it would be a big help for the developers. I'm interested in it. I'm interested to see how it shakes out over the next couple of months or so, or maybe it might take a little bit longer, because again, I have no idea what the time frame for the Ouya release is. But in any case, thank you guys for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.